Hello and welcome to episode number 18 of AEW Rise to the Top, where we're trying to get AEW to be the biggest wrestling company on the planet. Today, we are back again with another episode of Dark. And of course, another episode of Dynamite. So, last week, the episode of Dark, pretty terrible, 39. Not great, but it was sold out, so that's good. Let's just jump straight in and see how we get on this week. Oh, yes. Okay. So, we start off, B. Priestley taking on Aria Blake, who I might sign, actually. You know, it never hurts to have that many people. Oh, sorry, we're coming at you live from Soundstage 19 Universal Studio in front of 1,231 people. And our first matchup is B. Priestley taking on Aria Blake. And it is B. Priestley who picks up the win via pinfall in 10 minutes and 5 seconds. That segment got a 19 rating. Terrible. B. Priestley had a 34. Aria Blake had a 21. Didn't seem thrilled to see either of them. Match was terrible, but working on the lifting the crowd brought the audience back to our side, which is good. What is she? She's got an old school face gimmick. I got an initial rating of awful. Awesome. I might sign her. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, let's move on to the next segment. This is a bit better. A video shows playing Jasper Cowan in a dark room. Christian Casanova. We joined at the same time, and yet I'm undefeated. I don't need to resort to rolling up my opponents to win matches. You are a disgrace to AEW. You don't deserve this platform, and I'm going to prove it to you. So the newbie storyline advanced to this segment. It's got a 42 rating. He's got a poor gimmick, which is a bit annoying, but a pretty nice promo there. Decently rated, better than the first one. And let's just hope that the women's match coming up next is a better rated. Slightly. So this one is Chris Statlander taking on Priscilla Kelly. And it is Chris Statlander who picks up the victory in 10 minutes, 52 seconds. The segment got a 25 rating. Chris Statlander had a 35. Priscilla Kelly had a 25. The Bunny or Alien storyline advanced. And again, the crowd were turned off by having a match with workers that they don't have any investment in. But again, that's why we're using them. So let's move on to the next segment and hope that we get some slightly higher ratings. Here we go. So the Rascals come out to the ring with microphones. This was advertised to come last week that they would be here to respond to the Hybrid 2's promo that they cut last week. Basically saying that the crowd will turn on them as soon as they start losing. So Desmond Xavier starts us off. Last week, we got given some advice from some pretty salty men. It seems like they don't like the fact that you guys like us. Zachary Wentz. That's right, and we've had a little chat about it, and we want to issue a challenge to you both. Next week, main event, the Rascals against TEW. We'll see you there. So the Hybrid Rascal storyline advanced and gained heat, which is beautiful. The segment got a 55 rating. And then we have it, main event for next week. The Rascals taking on the Hybrid 2. Desmond Xavier, neither of them did well without a script. But that's something to remember for the future. Pretty nice promo there by the boys. And let's move on to the next segment, where we have Sunny Kiss going one-on-one with the librarian, Peter Avalon. And it is Sunny Kiss who picks up the victory in 8 minutes and 2 seconds with a sunny side up. Segment got a 30 rating. I really like Sunny Kiss. I want to use him as much as possible. I want to try and push him up the card, get him a bit more popularity, because he's really good. Did you see his match with Cody? It was really good. So a nice little co-main event there. But now let's move on to the true main event of the evening, where we have SCU, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian taking on Alex Reynolds and John Silva of the Dark Order. And in about that had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. It is SCU who pick up the victory in 12 minutes 48 seconds when Christopher Daniels pinned John Silva with an angel's wings. Frankie Kazarian apparently was head and shoulders above everyone else, and he was 62 to 50 to 32 to 33. John Silva was really off his game, and of course SCU have great chemistry teaming together. They got a 52 rating, so a nice main event for Dark. And let's go on and see our rating overall. 38, it's even worse. It's worse than last week. How is that even possible? Well, I guess when you have a 19 to kick off the show, and then, yeah, look. Okay, these things happen. It's not the end of the world. Dark, it's not increasing our popularity with anyone, which I was kind of hoping that it would, but at least it's not decreasing it, because that would be terrible. I don't know, is that because it's a B show? Does it not do that? I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, a fairly poor episode of Dark, to be honest. However, now it's time to move on to AEW Dynamite with the huge main event, Jon Moxley taking on Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who, you know, he's going to have Tully Blanchard at his side, at ringside, causing distractions, fighting it out for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Dynamite. Hello and welcome back to AEW Dynamite. We've got a huge show for you tonight with that massive MJF Jon Moxley main event, and as well Brian Cage taking on Kenny Omega in Brian Cage's first match since his loss to Jon Moxley at Fyter Fest a long time ago. So last week's rating was a 69, which isn't great, but it was okay. So let's go straight into the show and see how we get on. Oh damn, okay. And we kick it off with a great match. Shawn Spears taking on Orange Cassidy, and it is Shawn Spears who picks up the victory with a running Death Valley driver after Tully Blanchard interfered. This got a 70 rating, which is great. Shawn Spears only a 49, Orange Cassidy a 68. Got the crowd off to a strong start. That's a lot higher than I was expecting. That's great. So yeah, we're coming at you from the Knoxville Civic Coliseum in Knoxville, Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee. In front of just under 6,000 people. And what a way to kick off the show, man. I'm really surprised by that, to be honest. Anyway, let's move on to the next segment where we have the rest of the Four Horsemen and Tully Blanchard come out to the ring, and MJF grabs a microphone. Tony Khan knows where he makes his money, so he asked us to come out here and open the show tonight. Of course, the main event will see me crowned the AEW World Champion and will finally unite all the belts under the Four Horsemen banner. But as well as this, Dax will be getting revenge on those broken dipshit when he tears Matt Hardy a new arsehole later tonight. So like last week, Cash Wheeler took on Joey Janela, and now this week Dax Harwood is taking on Matt Hardy in singles action. It's got a 52, both TNT and World Championship storyline advanced. MJF improvised well, and Shawn Spears did a masterful job. The only penalty is just the low morales, which are really sort of killing us right now, but I don't know how to get rid of them, which is annoying. But let's move on to the next matchup, which sees Toni Storm in her in-ring debut, defeating Nyla Rose in 13 minutes and 4 seconds with a Storm 0. And this is actually getting a decent rating again. Toni Storm had a 49. Nyla Rose only a 29. She was really off her game. And a pretty vocal crowd didn't seem particularly thrilled with seeing Toni Storm. She's just going to have to keep being used until she's better. But Toni Storm is getting better at her gimmick, which is good. So yeah, a nice little women's match to bring us... open up the account of Toni Storm picking up a victory in her debut. And after the match, Big Swole comes out to the ring as Toni Storm is celebrating her debut victory, and Big Swole comes out to congratulate her. She climbs into the ring and hugs Toni, but then the music of the Dark Order starts to play, and Mr. Brody Lee comes out to the ramp. Mr. Brody Lee has been trying to convert Big Swole for weeks now, and as Toni turns to face Mr. Brody, she is attacked from behind by Big Swole, who lays into her until Toni Storm can't stand up. Mr. Brody Lee enters the ring and hands Big Swole a Dark Order mask. She turns to the camera and throws up the Dark Order hand sign. So turn didn't go down particularly well. Big Swole's now turned heel. She's joined the Dark Order. She's aligned herself with the dastardly Mr. Brody Lee. Dastardly. Alright, fair enough. The segment got a 50 rating, which is pretty good. The performance of Mr. Brody Lee was good. They didn't like the Big Swole heel turn. And Toni Storm is getting better at her gimmick, which is very good. So what is going to go on between these two women going forward? You can't imagine that Toni Storm will be too happy about being attacked like that by Big Swole. And why did Big Swole pick Toni Storm to attack? I'm sure we'll find all of that out in the coming weeks. So let's move on to the next matchup, the second women's matchup of the evening, where the women's champion Dr. Britt Baker takes on Riho. And again, women's matches are finally getting good ratings, 53. Well, I mean, it's not great, but it's good compared to what it was at the start. And Dr. Baker had a performance of 49, Riho had a performance of 48. All the announcing is good. Yes! Dr. Britt Baker, I should mention, picked up the win by making Riho tap out with the lockjaw in just under 12 minutes. Dr. Britt Baker getting ready for that title defense coming up against the number one contender, Tenille Dashwood, in the coming weeks. Not been announced when that is going to happen just yet. And look at that, we got no penalties. That's beautiful. So that's going to be a nice bit of popularity for Britt Baker there, hopefully. So let's move on to the next segment of the show, which goes to a video coming up on screen of a close-up of Tenille Dashwood. So she stands there and says, "Hey Britt, I just wanted to thank you for your inspirational words last week. It really got me thinking that maybe I should try and become a doctor just like you. So I thought I'd come here." The camera pans back to reveal that she is stood in Britt's doctor's office. "I thought I'd come here to practice." She starts picking up random equipment and tossing it around the room. She flips over the desk. She pulls down bookcases and things like that. She ends up trashing the whole office while Britt is screaming, throwing a massive tantrum in the ring, watching all of this unfold on the screen. This got a 44 rating. The Women's Championship storyline has advanced. Again, Tenille still got a poor gimmick, but she didn't have they didn't like seeing her this time. So fingers crossed that when those two finally get in the ring together, we will be able to get a pretty decent rating from that one. So now let's move on to the next matchup, where we have that match that was announced by MJF earlier on this evening. Matt Hardy, one half of the Broken Bad Boys, taking on Dax Harwood, one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions FTR in singles action. And again, it is the more experienced singles wrestler, Matt Hardy, picking up the victory with a twist of fate in 10 minutes 33. That segment got a 62 rating, which is pretty nice. This match got the crowd hotter, which is beautiful. Matt Hardy had a 49, Dax Harwood had a 64. Matt Hardy seemed off his game and, still got an okay rating. So who knows what's going to go on with these two teams now. The Broken Bad Boys do now have 2 singles victories over both members of the Tag Team Champions. So, maybe they're going to, try and use that to leverage themselves a title match. Who knows? But we will find out in the coming weeks, I am very sure. So let's move on to the next segment, which is a black and white video plays of Darby Allin in his house. The idea of a legend is one I've always had problems with. The people who earn this title do by so killing, stepping over, and destroying innocent people. Chris Jericho, you see yourself as a legend, but all I see is the bodies of people you've buried along the way. But Chris, you can't kill me. You can't destroy me. And you sure as hell can't bury me. Darby Allin did not do well with that script apparently. This got a 54. A nice little promo, The Inner Circle and Darby Allin have had a lot of trouble, I guess, in the last few weeks. And it seems like Darby Allin is getting pretty fed up of it, not happy about the way Chris Jericho has been treating other members of the roster, or just people in his career in general, it seems like. So yeah, Darby Allin, a pretty angry boy. But let's move on to the next segment, and it is Brian Cage in his first match back taking on Kenny Omega, and it is Kenny Omega who picks up the victory in 15 minutes and 27 seconds with a one-winged angel, the move that no one has ever kicked out of before. Brian Cage had a 64 performance. Omega had an 83, which is huge, 79 rating. The Hangman versus Omega storyline automatically advanced with this segment. Kenny benefited from a groundswell of public support. The match got the crowd buzzing. Did it have any penalties? Only Brian Cage was penalised for inconsistency. So yeah, Brian Cage back in, quite shockingly. Looks like he's coming back in a face role. You know, Taz didn't get involved at ringside, going up against probably right now the biggest heel in the company, Kenny Omega. So is this a face turn coming in for Brian Cage? And I will let you in on a little behind the scenes secret here, guys. Brian Cage has actually been face this whole time for some reason. This mod put him as a face, and I didn't realise until after the whole John Moxley storyline. So that whole storyline was penalised by having an odd face-heel combination, or that match was at least. And I thought, let's just use him as a face, because I didn't really have much going for him as a heel, as a big boy heel, but let's use him as a face. Let's, get a monster face going with Taz at ringside. Like, why the heck not? Let's just bloody do it. So that got a 79 rating, a really good match now. And let's move on to the next segment. And this one isn't very good, but I was expecting that. Cheerleader Melissa is backstage, and she is approached by Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna, look, maybe you're right. I want your help. Cheerleader Melissa, it's about damn time. Come on, let's go. So it's official. Cheerleader Melissa and Deonna Purrazzo looking to team up. Cheerleader Melissa, a veteran, over 20 years experience in the wrestling industry. Deonna Purrazzo, still only 26 years old and looking to get a really nice long career going. So we're using this, we're using Cheerleader Melissa to help her out. Hopefully boost her up the card a little bit. And this guy only got a 38 rating. I probably should have put this nearer the start of the show, but it's only a quick video, so it's not that matter. The Protégé storyline advanced and gained heat, which is really nice. Now let's move on to the main event of the evening. MJF versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. Finally a good bloody match. Let's get it. Yes, let's do this. In a bout that had fantastic heat and good wrestling, lasting 15 minutes and 11 seconds. He is still your AEW World Champion. Jon Moxley picks up the win with a paradigm shift, and Jon Moxley makes defense number 5 of his AEW World title. The segment got a 76 rating. Jon Moxley had a performance of 87. MJF had a 53. The World Championship storyline has advanced and gained heat, and Jon Moxley benefited from a groundswell of public support. Get in here. Only penalties were low heat for the storyline, low morale, and inconsistency. I think that's probably the best rated Wild Brawl I've had ever in this game. So I made sure to really get the crowd going for that one for the main event. And 87 rating for Jon Moxley. Just, get out of town. That's beautiful. So Jon Moxley still the AEW World Champion. Where does MJF go from here? The only member of the Four Horsemen not to hold a championship. He's had 2 attempts at this title now. There's only so many people he can blame until he has to start blaming himself. Really, doesn't he? A huge main event, a great main event. And now let's move on to the final segment of the show, where after the match, Jon Moxley is celebrating in the ring with his title. Omega rushes down to the ring and looks to attack. Moxley drops the belt and is ready to fight. Omega stops, laughs, and walks to the back, leaving Mox alone in the ring. It's got an 80 rating. Oh, I'm so excited to have these two working together. The World Championship storyline advanced. Performance of Jon Moxley was fantastic. Jon Moxley was superb, working without a script. Kenny Omega improvised well, and they've both got a groundswell of public support without any penalties in this. Limited for being short. Okay. I'm not sure how that whole thing works, but I'll have to look into that. Because sometimes I do it 5 minutes and it's like nothing interesting happened, but maybe that's just because the segment wasn't good enough. Maybe something like this wants to go longer. Who knows? But yeah, a really nice final rating, 80. Kenny Omega said last week in the main event time slot that he was coming for whoever won the match. So it looks like Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega are on a collision course for an AEW World Championship matchup. So let's finish the show and see how we got on overall. And it's a 76. I think that's our second best show now. Oh, we just didn't have that one. Look, 70, everything. That's the only yellow one is the Deonna Purrazzo one, but I'm dedicated to get that to work. I'm dedicated. The show increased our popularity in 38 regions, which is huge. Yeah. I'm very happy about that. I'm really happy with the Shawn Spears Orange Cassidy match. I wasn't expecting that to be anywhere near that high. Everything else is kind of like middling. I would have liked... but I mean, to be fair, for two women's matches in this save, those are some really nice scores. Tenille still just needs to get a bit more over. That 62 was a really nice score. 54 was a bit low. I would have liked more. Same with that 52. But again, that's just because everyone's a bit angry. Because they're angry from the first episode. The first episode I did that big Battle Royale. It's a Battle Royale. Battle Royale is like Fortnite, isn't it? A Battle Royale for the TNT Championship Open Challenge, and I had Kip Sabian win, and I had like MJF and Darby Allin and Shawn Spears in it, and they all were like, I'm really mad that you're going to make us lose this match. And I was like, it's fine, guys, you'll get over it. And it's been 4 months, and they haven't bloody got over it yet, which is annoying. But yeah, who knows? Hopefully that'll sort itself out at some point. Or if you have any tips for how to deal with morale issues, please do let me know in the comment section down below. But now we're going to head back to the homepage. We're going to check. We have a really good shot of beating NXT this week. We're going to see how they got on, how Ring of Honor got on, check the news, check the emails, all that good stuff. And I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Okay, so here we are, back on the screen. So we got a 76 with a 2.49 TV rating, and NXT had a 66 with a 2.17. We demolished them in the ratings as well this week. We beat them by 10 whole points. Get in. That is a weird... Joaquin Wilde, Bobby Fish, and Tony Nese. Gentlemen, and the All-Star... Who are the All-Star team? Aria Davari and Timothy Thatcher, I guess? I don't know. That's weird. But yeah, not a great show for NXT. Let's see how Ring of Honor got on. 81 again. Jonathan Gresham defeated Jeff Cobb in the main event. I do have him on my shortlist. Just saying. Let's have a look at the emails. Rob Van Dam is set to stay with Impact. We could try and how much would he cost? 35 grand. We don't need Rob Van Dam. He's a bit old for us now. Let's see how Stardom got on as well. 53. The powers that be. B. Priestley in the main event. Jamie Hayter losing out in the SWO World Championship match. I think they're the only people on the current Stardom roster who we have. Dynamite report, Konami title victory. So Jamie Hayter lost the title last night. Matt Taven has turned heel in Ring of Honor. PJ Black is sidelined. He'll be out for a few months. I was thinking about him as well, actually. I don't know why. I just liked Justin Gabriel back in the day. New champion Scarlett Bordeaux is on the rise, apparently. Very nice. Ring of Honor looking to sign even more people, and they've signed Crazy Mary Dobson, formerly Sarah Logan. I know you said Sarah Rowe, but that's her husband's last name in wrestling. So let's check out the emails. Ring of Honor have increased their music, and Ring of Honor again, big, man. Okay, so I thought we'd have a quick look through the top 100s while we've got a few minutes spare at the end. So that show there is our second best of all time. Our best show 77 rated, came in August. Let's look. Top 100 matches. Death Triangle defeating the Elite is still number 1. The Elite defeating the Dark Order is number 2. Death Triangle defeating Strong Hearts is number 3. Kenny Omega defeating Brian Cage, that match just from now, number 4. Kenny Omega again. Kenny Omega's in like 1, 2, 3 of these matches, but then Death Triangle are just like in all of them pretty much. Yeah, we're getting some good matches in. So now let's see. The top 10 attendances was All Out by 12,000 by country mile. Top TV ratings, that episode we just had there, 2.49 was the top TV rating by quite a while, which I thought it was, and the top viewerships was this current episode as well. So with all that being said and done, this is where I'm going to end this episode off. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, comment. Like I said, if you have any tips on morale issues, please do comment. That would be 10 out of 10. I'd love that. And yeah, tell a friend if you enjoyed it, all that good stuff. And I will see you for the next episode very soon. Goodbye.